What's up, Lego Builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. It's time. It's time for another episode of A Man and His Bricks. Very interested to see how this goes. These are never my most popular vids, and now I'm back. Now that I'm back to a solo act, it'll be very interesting to see, how these do. But I wanted to keep this series going. This is something that, I have long-term plans for, and I'm passionate about, and is important to me. So, I decided, I got to keep it going even through these, less popular times, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, welcome to the podcast. Today we've got Luca Paraboni, Lego Tank, Kristen, Nolark Studios in the house. Glad to see I've got at least one mod here. Lego Tank, Max Hetrick, Clone Wars, Otter's Build, the Lego Guy. Ooh, I like the profile pic Lego Guy. Senate Guard. Pancake Studios, Macan. Welcome. How's everyone doing today? So, for this stream, I've got a few topics I want to talk about. If I can get my throat clear. Let's see. So, we're going to be talking about where's Thick Brick? What happened to my podcast host? We're going to be talking about like this last period of mock building, because this is I'm going to take my glasses off. This is a very challenging time to be, like, this is the most challenging period of a large-scale mock series, the end. The final 4 to 6 episodes. We'll be talking about why that is, what's going on there, how I'm dealing with it, and then a very important thing to learn or realize if you want to get into large-scale mock building, something you need to do starting with your first mock and moving forward to help you kind of be able to make large-scale mock building a more sustainable thing. I know that's a little bit more of a niche thing because a lot of you guys aren't into that, but who knows? You might find it interesting, or you might want to get into that a little bit later. And then, so for the themed Q&A, we're going to be talking YouTube videos. What kind of YouTube videos are my favorite to watch versus what kind of my favorite to make? And then, like, what is the best kind of YouTube content to make? I get asked a decent amount, like, oh, what kind of video should I make? What should I do? So have your questions prepared for that. I'll let you guys know when that section starts. But welcome to everybody. We got Firebird Bricks in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're gearing up for the weekend. Hope you're all ready for everything you got going on. Grinding Bricks. What's up, man? Glad to see another mod. That's good. At least we got a couple mods. Bean Soup. I know. Sad to see Thicky go. Well, we might as well start with that. So, for anybody, just in case anybody doesn't know, I used to have a podcast host, Thick Brick. He was another YouTuber. He owned the Thick Brick Decal Shop. Really cool guy. Really liked him. Still do like him. But we had this podcast going on together. I kind of brought him into A Man and His Bricks. But a couple of weeks ago, he messaged me right before the podcast, right as, we were about to start planning the next episode, and was just like, hey, I don't know how much I want to reveal because, I don't want to say anything he hasn't said or wants to keep private, but I think he said a lot of it to you guys. But he's basically like, hey, I want to go in a new direction with my career. And we'd been talking about some things he liked, didn't like about the whole YouTube and decal grind. And it was starting to get to him, and he just decided it was time for him to make a change. And so he left, YouTube, doesn't have his decal shop anymore, and as well, left the podcast to go pursue other things. And I wish him well, but he's not coming back to the podcast, so it'll be back to a single act now, which is a little unfortunate. It was nice to have someone else to throw stuff off of, but I do also like the solo setup, and I'm pretty used to that. So that's what happened to Thick Brick. He's fine. It wasn't like a bad thing. I think, he just wanted to go in a different direction. What's up, Dawn? Everybody else who's just joining, welcome. So that's kind of why we haven't had an episode for a while, is just because I've been so busy with Coruscant. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna set that to the side for a little bit. But I've just been super burnt out and super tired. And honestly, I don't have a video for this Friday. Like, I don't have a weekday video, because typically my schedule is you got the Coruscant update, the big money video on Sunday, and then Wednesday typically I'll do some kind of building live stream, and then Friday is like the big building challenge video, just some kind of random challenge, and then Saturday is the Coruscant live stream, and then rinse and repeat. I've just been so tired and exhausted. I didn't finish this week's challenge video in time. It's mostly done. I only have one mock left to do out of the 4 mocks, so it's getting there. and by next Friday it'll be out. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit, is like this final stage or period of mock building, or building, of a mock series. The last 6 or so weeks are the worst, just because I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I'm tired of working, I'm out of money. Not out of money. It's like I have money, but it's like I've been spending so much. You know what I mean? And there's just still like the end. It feels like the end isn't in sight. So like I'm doing all this building every week, but I'm starting to like finish up and finalize a lot of the sections. And so like I'll do a lot of building, but I'll step back at the end of the week and not really see a ton of progress because I'm finalizing a lot of things, putting a lot of finishing touches, whereas the base big structure, the easy progress you've seen is already in. So that can also grind on me. And then to make matters worse, I'm moving in July. So like I gotta get Coruscant has to be done in like the next 3 weeks, or else you know what I mean, or else I'm not gonna have time to enjoy it, to film all the content I need, get it taken apart in time to move. And yes, Firebird brings up another good point. Like so many Bricklink orders, like I just lost count. It's just almost constant because I can't wait. It's like, because before it used to be like, oh, I need this piece, okay, I'll wait till the beginning of next month when I do the new batch of ordering. But I can't wait until the beginning of next month. I got to get it done now. So just the ordering comes as quick as possible, which is fine. I'm not complaining like, oh, this is the worst. I'm just kind of like showing you guys like this is, the less seen side of large scale mock building, just the stress and the burnout that comes with, the awesome end result, the cool weekly updates and stuff like that. So I've been trying to figure out how to navigate that and stay rested and stay energized, because, having done both, working creatively and working physically, you need to recover differently. I framed houses for 4 years, and it was very important to give my body rest, to get the proper sleep, to do yoga, to exercise, to keep my body strong and healthy, and to keep it from getting injured, just because of the heavy nature of what I was doing. But this is so different in where my body is fine. There's obviously wear and tear on it from sitting and standing and bending over and stuff, but like the mental side is where I need to get a lot of rest in, and I'm struggling to understand and figure out how to do that, because it's not just like, oh, I just don't build. You need to like engage your brain in other activities. You need to get away from um like building and stuff like that, which is hard when I live in my studio. I live where I work, and I'm so stressed. I'm thinking about it all the time. So that's kind of been a big struggle and a big thing that I'm working on now. Is like, okay, how do I stay refreshed mentally? Because it gets to the point where I literally can't force myself to build or work anymore, and that's not good. I got to get the work done. So I've been trying to figure out like, how do I go about that? I've been starting to do a little bit more yoga, meditation. I'm trying to get outside more, just mix it up, and especially just to stay strong in this final stretch. You framed houses? I didn't even know they could be charged with crimes. Oh yeah, you make a lot of money too. I mean, you do feel a little guilty, but it's life. Let's see. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm feeling pretty good today. I had a really good week of building Coruscant. Like I put in some lights, so you guys are gonna get to see some more lighting action. Light my bricks, got some other stuff. But the issue is like it's crunch time, So anytime I'm taking time off, it's like I should be working, I should be finishing the mock, because I want to get it done. So there's that whole thing, and then this also bleeds into the rest of my channel, where I don't have the time or the parts to put out the other videos, or to stream, or to just do as much content. And so then I see all of my stats going down on YouTube, you know what I mean? Which stresses me out even more, because I'm like, oh, the views are going down, subscribers, revenue, like watch time, everything's down because less content's coming out. And so it's like that makes me even more stressed and like even more frantic. And so it's just this like, just very, I can't say the word I want to say, garbage fire, I guess, of just this bad cycle. So it's very important, like at the very end of a project like this, to be very aware of that, and like, okay, how do I pierce through this? How do I start that? How do I stop that cycle? And so it's been a good learning experience for sure. And I think the next time I go through this, I'll be much more prepared, and obviously the channel will be bigger, so I won't have as much stress around like analytics and such. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's life of an AFOL. That's what's been going on with me. Just a lot of stress, a lot of worry. But I hope, hopefully it pays off. Hopefully Coruscant, blows up and gets like 1 million views, and that's the plan. What's up, Scott? Welcome to the stream. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I've got my notes here. So, I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been my wife, might have been Firebird Bricks. I don't remember. I was talking to somebody, but I was telling them how I had this big realization of like how important your first 4 or 5 mocks are. As if you're taking mock building seriously and you want to do big mocks for a long time, choose your first 4 to 5 mocks very intentionally with reusability of the parts in mind. Meaning, like, when you pick a mock, you're like, okay, you should start thinking before you even built it, what can I do with this next? What can I do with this again? Because I had a realization the other day. My first 4 mocks were Naboo, which was all green, Umbara, which was all black, Utapau, which was pretty much all dark tan, Cato Nemoidia, which is pretty much all dark tan, and then Coruscant, which is pretty much all gray. These 5 mocks have given me the building blocks and foundation to build just about anything I want after this. Like those are like your main color groups. You know what I mean when it comes to mock building, and I'm set after this. Like I'll always need more parts, and I'm always going to need to bring in new stuff to the collection. But if you think about it, any Star Wars mock I want to build after this, I've got the base colors I need, which is going to save me so much money and time. So that was one thing I realized of like, wow, if you can make it through those first ones, um, you you set yourself up for a lot of long-term success. So if you want to get into mock building seriously, or if this is like a long-term thing for you, be very intentional with that. Like if you're building a tan mock, but you just don't want to do it again, you don't know how you're going to use tan again, really evaluate, do I want to do this mock now? You could do it in the future, but like those beginning mocks are very important, not only to hone your skills and build something you want to build, but to set up your parts collection to be able to take on future projects. Because I can't spend 10 grand on every mock, and I don't. But the goal is the price of every mock should go down after this because I've got that base set of parts that I don't need to keep rebuying. So that was one thing, a big realization, and something that I'm super grateful and like frankly feel like I was like there's like divine intervention almost there, just like how perfectly that all played out. Because I've used every single color of part over and over and over again, and it's saved me so much money. So just be aware of that, and think like, okay, what are my future possibilities with what I'm buying? And if you feel like it could be limited, maybe don't do that mock yet. I know it stifles creativity in a little way, but if you want to take this seriously, that is definitely something to consider. I took a full break from Lego this week, needed to step back and get a new look on how I tackle my stuff, was getting a bit overwhelmed with the action lately. That's exactly it. Like, we are all like, goal oriented, business oriented, whatever it is, we have things we want to do, right? Most of us aren't really just casual collectors. Like, we want to do something with this. And so, like, we just tend to overwhelm ourselves and put more on our plate because that's the nature of growth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely good to realize that and take a step back because even if you do see a dip in analytics, that's okay. You'll come back better and be able to bring those analytics to an even higher level than if you just slogged through and put out lackluster content and just forced yourself to do it. Like in the long term, it's not going to be good for you or whatever it is you're working towards. But yeah, that's a good mindset. Big brain mock building strategies. That's right. I mean, it's it's serious. Like, um, and I guess I should, since I'm saying that, some parts I would recommend, some colors I would recommend working in: dark tan and olive green. That's going to set you up for a lot of really cool builds and color schemes in the future. Um, Green is another one, and then gray. Black, I do use a lot of black, but not a whole lot of the plate except for filler plate. So I don't know. That is a pretty good one, but that one is a little bit more niche on like what you can build because like outside of Mustafar or Umbara, there might be a few other places you could do it, like Solus or something, but you're more limited there. So, but those ones definitely like grays, greens, um, and dark tan, olive green. I would say brown too, but it's so finicky and fickle and breaks. I don't know that I recommend that one. So bear that in mind and really do some research. Like sometimes, just dive in and see like what kind of planets have the biosphere that I want, have the coloration that I want, and chances are you can find a place that fits your needs. There's just so many Star Wars planets and cities and builds out there. Price per piece is something people overlook a lot. Say you get a shirt for $10, but wear it twice, it costs you the same as a $200 shirt you wear 40 times. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. Like investing, be more aware of like what you're investing in, because yeah, light bluish gray is expensive, but if you get a bunch of it right off the bat, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and money in the future of being able to reuse those parts. Because I'm just so stoked for what I get to do next after Coruscant. Like, and I've got most of the pieces I have, which means I free up money for so many other things and projects because I've got the base colors there. Yeah, I get passionate when I talk about brick and parts and efficiency. Just it gets me going, It gets me excited. I love that kind of stuff, that kind of talk. Which is not the most exciting, but I mean, there are people here who are here for that kind of stuff, here to learn how to get the most out of their collection and out of their budget. Because it can be very easy to get on Bricklink and buy a few parts. You build a mock and then you never use the parts and you just feel like, oh, I just don't have the money to build mocks. And it's like, really be aware of what parts, what kinds of parts, and what colors of parts you're getting, and that'll allow you to build more and more and more. So that's about it for my little rant. What's up, Wired Stimpy? Welcome to the stream. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to hit for Life of an Aphel. The finale should be out the first week of June. That's the first or second. The second week of June is like the latest possible it'll be out. Like I'll stay up all night and pull a week of all-nighters if I have to get it done in time, because I'm not letting this go on too much longer. And the good news is the last big thing to do is the Senate building roof. Everything else has been designed, thought of, the parts are in, you know what I mean? I'm just slowly working at the same pace as the Senate building roof. So it may look like the rest of the mock needs a lot of work. It's just, I have the parts there. I'm just waiting. That way it all gets finished at the same time instead of everything's done and I'm still waiting on the roof. Yeah. So I've got a lot of tan and dark tan and grays for Massive Temple and Deveron mock in the near future, and also Naboo Thief for my new Pel mock. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to do it. And look out there, like if you're serious, like if you're just building mocks for fun, this probably won't be super applicable to you, but if you want to get on YouTube and you want to make a name for yourself and grow your channel, look and see what's out there and maybe don't do what everybody else is doing, That's one of the reasons I did Utapau and Cato Nemoidia and Naboo and Coruscant, really, is because nobody had really done those, and I felt like there's a gap. There's a hole there that needs to be filled, and I'm going to put my mock there and kind of, build something that hasn't been done before. But I mean, if you really want to do a mock that's been done a lot as well, just try and figure out a way to put your own spin on it and look at what everybody else has done. Like, how can I build this place, but in a very different way? Scarif. Thinking of Scarif. What's up, Mayo? Gary Gazelle. Welcome to everybody else who is joining. I'm just finishing up the Life of an Aphel segment. You've done well juggling Coruscant, moving in life. Looking forward to the future builds. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It was a struggle, like, because I was really focused on like keeping consistent content while I moved. And this last week, the whole adrenaline and the high of that situation finally left, and I just like dropped dead. Basically, I was exhausted to my core. I could barely work. I was so tired. I was sick. Like it's been a rough week, but I'm feeling better, and I'm hoping I came out on the other side of that, just because it was a constant go, 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 just to try and move. And now that everything's more settled, I'll have more time to rest and just recharge and stuff. Oh, for sure. I'm about to start my own channel, hence Deveron from the Clone Wars. No one's really done that before. Thanks for the tip. Nice. There is one caveat, one thing I would mention. There is a fine line between doing what no one's done and doing what no one really cares about. And I kind of learned this lesson with Cato Nemoidia because, yeah, nobody's done Cato Nemoidia, but no one's really familiar with it. We've all heard the word. We all know who Newt Gunray is, but nobody's... I think if more people even knew what Cato Nemoidia it was and like what the cities were like, they'd be more interested in the mock. But I don't think the common knowledge was there for it. And so that is one thing to keep in mind, that like if it's super niche, super obscure, you might not draw in the casual interest, the interest of like the more casual viewer. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's it for a Life of an Aphel. It's been, I'm at least grateful that like there is things happening in life. Like it's a good problem to have, that it's like, oh, there's so much going on. I'm reaching to new heights. Can I get to that point? Because it means I'm living life. Life is happening. You know what I mean? It's not this stagnation and this boring doldrum. So that is good. All right, guys, it is time for questions. Themed Q&A. So like I said earlier, the theme for this Q&A is actually, it's funny, it unintentionally goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. But we're going to be talking about YouTube videos. Like, what are my favorite kinds of YouTube videos to watch versus what are my favorite kinds of YouTube videos to make? What do I hate most about making videos? Any advice or tips I have in that regard? And like, what's the best kind of YouTube video to make? So hit me up with your questions, your thoughts, your comments. This is basically the point where I turn it over to you guys and you guys kind of join in on the podcast and we have a little bit of conversation and discourse here. Sorry if the question isn't coherent, but I have a question. What do you plan on doing for 50K subs? I'm going to do a mock contest. I'll give you guys a second to think of your questions, type them in. Because like this week was a good relax. Like today, I'm all done with work. After this, I'm done. Coruscant's done and ready to go. I already uploaded it to Patreon. So Patreon members, you got early access to that. I'll set up my stream and then just it'll be nice. I feel like I'm gonna be able to get some good recharging of the batteries this weekend and like just dive into this last leg of the build and the series and go all out. What's your favorite non-Lego niche part of YouTube? Ooh, that is a good question. So I'd say it's kind of a broad one because I like a very specific kind of video. And if it's this type of video, I'll watch it for just about anything. And that's documentary type. So like the documentary niche in YouTube. I just love to learn. I love a good, well-made documentary, especially because I almost feel like Coruscant, the building updates are a documentary in a way of documenting the progress of the build. So I feel like I get to learn like how does the narrative work, the different shots, just learning how to make a good update or documentary style thing. So especially World War II documentaries, that's one of my favorite niches. It's just like the documentary side of YouTube, whether it be sports, World War II, nature, history. I just like to learn about interesting things. YouTube. Um, I've been really into the showroom recently. They do reenactments of battles in World War II, like full. It's not very flashy or glamorous, but that's what I like it. It's very calm, very soothing, just very focused on like giving you the accurate information of how the battle went down and like the the thought processes a little bit. It's really cool. I'd recommend it if you're into that kind of stuff. They do modern battles too, but I'm not really interested in that. And they even like animate the battles and stuff too. So I love a good documentary video. Strongmen, World's Strong or the Strongest Men in History. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that documentary. It's on the History Channel, but it's on YouTube. Love that. It's such a good little series to watch. So that's got to be my favorite niche. Top three favorite Lego YouTubers and why you like your content. Oh, their content, what you've learned from them. Ooh, I like this. Oh, I like this one. All right. So I'm gonna do no particular order. I'm not gonna go one, two. I'll give you three, but I won't do like first, second, and third, just because it's hard for me to like figure out who exactly is my favorite. You know what I mean? So first up, let me type in his name just to make sure. Yeah. So this guy's name is Lion Bricks, and he puts together he puts together the best mock updates I've ever seen. And I watch David, I watch Jay, I watch everybody, any kind of mock building update. His is one of the best as far as like from a narrative and cinematic aspect. Like they're absolutely amazing. I rewatch his videos just to learn like how is he doing this? How is he building? Like how is he showing you and me the mock coming together? Because that's so important. Like it's not putting a mock update for me is like a mock within a mock. So I'm building the mock and then I'm assembling the mock update. And it's not just you put the clips in there and you throw some music in. It's like, how am I how am I sharing the information with you? What is the narrative? Is it coming to you guys in an interesting way? Is it just build and voiceover and time lapse, or am I getting more in depth? Am I showing you specifically how certain bricks together? How cinematic, how visually appealing is it? Like he's a mastermind at that kind of stuff and just putting together a very pleasing, very engaging update. And here's how engaging it is. He's building a city, a very generic Lego city, but he's a very talented builder. And just the way he doesn't show you the entire thing coming together, but does more of like these more slow paced single shots of him putting a few bricks in to kind of give you an idea of like what he's doing to have the build come together without needing to show you the whole thing come together, if that makes sense. I'm getting into some real technical stuff in here that you may not care about, but that's why he's one of my favorite people to watch. Unfortunately, he doesn't really upload anymore, which is, dude, it's such a shame. Like his videos are awesome. I'll go back and rewatch them. That's how good they are, just to learn and just to see a master at work. So there's Lion Bricks. I feel like I got him. He shout out to SW Bricks and Figs as well. He's the one who actually showed me and helped me come across Lion Bricks. Let's see. Trying to think of who my others are. I feel like there's a couple really important ones that I'm forgetting. Like, you know, people. Oh, Brick Hive. He's actually another YouTube channel that I really like. A lot of you guys know him. He's a much smaller channel than, you know, like David and Lion Bricks. But I enjoy his content. I love his personality. I'm pretty good friends with him. And I just, whenever I see a Brick Hive video, I'm like, oh, what is this? I don't watch all of the videos, but he just, I don't know. There's just something about him that I like. I click on the video. Like I watch his life updates, and I really don't watch that for anybody else. But for some reason, just the content he puts out, I like joining his streams. He's also super nice to me, which probably is part of it. I just, you like being around people who are nice to you. So Brick Hive is another one. You get that raw, real, just honest life of an AFOL. So that's another one. Who's the third? I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this question. But number 3, my favorite. I feel like I gotta pick someone because I've been learning a lot from an entertainment standpoint this year of like how do I make the videos funny? Because those other two were more like personality, cinematic structuring the videos, but like my channel's gone through such a huge change of like adding in memes, making it more high energy, making it more funny, more just relatable, more fun. You know what I mean? Not so serious as my videos used to be. And I've had a lot of influences in that regard. I'm trying to think of like a specific channel that like has really helped me with that. Let me pull up my channels that I'm subscribed to. Maybe that'll jog my memory. Oh, my third favorite channel is probably Coconut's Kingdom. That guy is awesome. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Coconut's Kingdom. Those were the days. I don't know, man. Ah, man, this third one, like, I want to do like a channel that's really funny and just like really high energy, but like the TD Brick's not a fan of like I don't watch that kind of content, but like I would say his channel has been a big influence in my channel as far as like how do I take up the energy level? How do I make these more funny? How do I work humor into my videos? Because it's more than just slapping memes in there, right? It's about writing jokes. It's about finding the humor in building with Lego humor specifically. So I'd say like his channel actually has a lot of influence in mine, even though we're so different and like just everything about the type of content we make is different. I have taken a lot of influence from him in that regard. So those would probably be my top 3: Lion Bricks, Brick Hive, and what's his, literally just TD. He's not my favorite though. That's the thing. Not most influential. I feel like he's very influential, and I've learned a lot from his channel, so I can't not put him on the list. What's the next mock after Coruscant? It's gotcha. I'm a big fan of the infographic show and everything with Simon Whistler as the frontman. I've never heard of that before. Giant mocks are a bunch of smaller, cohesive mocks. They can be, definitely. Have you seen the channel MI Brick? I have not. All right, guys, hit me up with some more questions. Give me some questions. What's up? Crested Butte Band of Brothers is a good show. A really good show. Oh, here we go. What's your favorite? Oh, what's your non-Star Wars related favorite YouTuber? Hmm. There's a few that I like to keep up with. Right now, there's one called the Wild Times Podcast. It's not a single person, but a group of guys who make a podcast. It's a pretty adult TV show, like a podcast. So I would not recommend it if you are under the age of 18. But I check in with them a lot. I listen to a lot of their videos, like to stay up to date with them. There's just a lot of just like there isn't really one. Oh, Brandon Sanderson would probably have to be one of my more favorites. He's an author, which is kind of funny that I would gravitate towards that because I'm not an author. I build. It's like the opposite of writing. But he's very like share my knowledge as a businessman. How did I become, because in the way that we are similar is we are both artists trying to make a living doing what we love. And so he shares a lot of tidbits and like mindsets that he had and has of like how did I make it as an artist, especially as a writer, which is hard, and like how did I stay focused, how did I believe in myself, how did I stay positive. So I like to listen to him for that kind of stuff, even though when he gets into the more technical writing I don't relate to it at all. I just really like that, and he's just a very humble, very down to earth guy. Just what you want to be as a successful artist, I feel like is what he embodies, and I want to be more like that. So he's also just very calming. I like his personality and his energy. I really vibe with. So he's definitely one of my favorite. Yeah, I love a good Brandon Sanderson lecture too. I like listening to him talk. He's a storyteller. He knows how to make anything interesting. Because I have no interest in like learning how to structure a book, and I'm just sitting there listening to his lecture. Like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Imagine if you were a mouth reader. Well, I guess you'd know what I'd be building. What battle pack do you really want Lego to make? I don't really care, to be honest. I know it's not going to be a clone. It's going to be in the format that I dislike. So anything they make, I probably won't like, to be honest. I'm big into like I like to learn, but I also like to learn from people who don't. How do I say this? There are those people who are like, "Oh, let me teach you. Let me show you the way. Listen to my podcast." Like I don't like that. I don't like people who are like, "You need to do this. You need to do this." I like people who are more like, "Hey, here's my life experiences. Here's what I've learned. I'm just going to share it." You know what I mean? It's much more personal. It's less haughty, it's less prideful, it's less like condescending, I guess. So I don't like those. I like the more like, hey, this is like how I live my life. This is what's happened to me. Let me share that with you guys. And that's what I try to do with this podcast of like, here's what I've learned. Here's what I've been trying to get better at. Here's just what I've experienced. If it, hopefully it can help someone. Let's see. Got to peace out. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining, Firebird. I appreciate the question as well. Have a good one, man. Enjoy your weekend. What was your first Lego set and how old were you when I got it? I was 8 years old, and it was the Anakin, Jedi Starfighter, and Vulture Droid. I actually listened to him for the writing and structuring stuff because yeah, it's definitely more relevant to you. Can you do Theed? Yeah, eventually. I'd like to do Theed. I got a whole list of mocks I'd like to do. But hit me up with your questions, guys. Anything related to YouTube videos, YouTube content. Try and keep it focused around that. Just so that I don't have, that way we're not answering just random questions. Don't go into stop motion. That's not really a question. See you later, Luca. Thanks for joining. Have a good rest of your day. Does it bother you guys if you can see the reflection of the lights in my glasses? "22 people in the chat. Nice. It's been a while since I've done this podcast, so I'm finding I'm having these silences where it's like I just don't really have anything to say, so hopefully I can get back into the swing of things. Not related to YouTube, but how's your family doing? They're doing good. They helped me move Coruscant, which was awesome. Very kind of them. Yeah, everybody's, you know, working hard, living their lives. I've got a great example in my siblings and parents of like just working hard and going out and just pursuing life, not waiting for it to come to you. So that's been nice. If you had to start your channel completely over, what would you do first? Ooh, wow, that's a good one. Dang, you guys came loaded today with the questions. I have a Star Wars question, but not related to. Yeah, you could hit me with it, Scott. I mostly just like look to stay away from like what's your favorite minifig, stuff like that. You know what I mean? If I had to start over, what would I do first? I'd basically do what I'm doing now. I feel like what I'm doing now, I finally figured out like this is the formula for me. So I would start out and because in the beginning when I first started my channel, it was upload as much as possible in order to get as many videos out as I can and to get better at the video making process and to get more experiences building mocks and stuff like that. But now that I have all that under my belt, if I were to start over, I would go right into like I'd go right into looking at what's trending and what's popular and figure out, okay, how do I blend that into my channel? How do I morph that into what I do as Lego content? Like take for example these building challenges I've been doing, right? It's all about like, oh, I spent this much money doing this. I did this in this amount of time. These random challenges, so I'm trying to take those and bring it to Lego Star Wars. I built 4 random Lego mocks. I built this in this amount of time with this much money. You know what I mean? I did these, I turned this into this. And so I'd really hit those building challenges hard and really try to figure out what's trending and what's topical and tap into that instead of just fighting it and trying to do what I do. And then on the flip side, I'd also establish a weekly series of some kind, whether it be a mock, podcast. Just you need something there to really engage with your audience and keep them coming back and build that core audience because you don't want to just keep putting out viral videos because it's like eventually your audience is going to get tired of that and they're really gonna want to know you. You know, like the more they get to know you and you as a person, they'll be like, oh, I'm here for this. I'm here for this guy. Because, you know, we all have those YouTubers that were like, I'm here for you, man. I'm here for that. And they've got you, you're part of that core audience. And so a weekly series helps that. And I feel like that's why my mock building series is so integral to my channels because that's what keeps people coming back. You know what I mean? They want to see the next week. They want to see the finale. They want to see the next video. And then they get to know me and then they just you know, you want to hang out, you want to see them, you want to say hi and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I do is really tap into what's trendy, but don't throw aside the core audience and building that weekly reason to come back. So I'd kind of balance those two things. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned the hard way since you've committed 100% to YouTube? Don't live or die by stats, by your success. And what I mean by that is I've always, and I'm sure many people are this way, I'm not unique in this, but I've really struggled with like very tied to like success, the highs and the lows. And like I've been reading this book called The Mamba Mentality. Kobe Bryant wrote it, and he talks about like one thing he learned was not to ride the highs too high or the lows too low, but to just be more even killed, more calm, more present in the moment, not get too excited or overjoyed or happy or not too low. And I've realized how important that is with YouTube because like a video goes 10 out of 10, and I would just fall into the pit of this despair. I'd be so despondent. I'd be like, I want to give up. I want to be done. Like, and it would just have such a negative effect on me. I don't want to make videos anymore. I don't want to do anything just because you're defeated. You're so crushed by that because that video meant so much to me. I put so much work on it. I so much is riding on it doing well. But then on the flip side, I would get just so excited by a video getting 1 out of 10 and doing well. I was like, this is it. This is the best. But like after a while, I realized like it's so fleeting. Like, yeah, the 1 out of 10 is there, but like after a week, it doesn't really matter anymore. And then I'm on to the next video and it's the same whole process over again of like just super highs or super lows. And I was like, this isn't why I did YouTube. I did YouTube to be happy every day, doing something I love and working towards a greater purpose in my life. Not so a video could go viral or to avoid a video flopping. And so as soon as I made that mindset shift, I had a huge change in the way I looked at this channel. I was so much happier in doing the stuff I do. And don't get me wrong, I'm still gutted when a video flops, but I'm just like, okay, on to the next one. That one didn't work. Let's go. Let's get another one out. Let's get another one done. Let's keep working and just be happy doing what I'm doing because the success comes. You know what I mean? Like a video that flopped 3 months ago, 4 months ago has no factor now. I mean, look at me. I'm still here. I'm still doing good. I'm still growing. And so just learning that lesson was so important, to not ride the highs or the lows too hard, but to be more even keeled. I just more focused on the greater purpose of like, I'm doing this so that I can do what I love and so I can build a career out of this. So that has helped a ton and just really saved me. Like, just made me so much happier, so much easier to be around, and just so much more productive, just because I'm not riding on that as much as I used to be. It's a great question. Thanks for that question. I feel like that was definitely a good lesson. I'm glad that like I was able to learn that and be able to articulate, just be able to like share that, I guess, because I had kind of forgot about. I hadn't forgot about it. I just lots of other stuff. Darth Ostiff, welcome to the stream, my friend. I hope you're doing good today. We're in the middle of the Q&A segment of A Man and His Bricks, so talking about YouTube videos, anything related to YouTube content. Yeah, pretty broad, but let's see. If you had to choose one UCS set for Lego, ATTE. Definitely. Let's see. Ooh, what video might you watch in the background to pump you up for building and inspire you? That's a good question too. Like, that's another thing I've really learned is like, you don't just turn on the creative juice. You don't just like sit down and start building, because that's how it used to be for me. But now that's my full-time job. So what I do is I like to play Battlefront because I love Star Wars. I love Lego. That is the core of this. One of the core. There, a few things, but like I'm doing this, I'm doing Lego and Lego Star Wars because I love Lego. And so when I build, like, my mind is just wired to, when I look at anything, I want to build it. So when I play Battlefront, I look at the maps and I'm like, I want to build this. Then I get excited. I get in this mindset. I start thinking like, how would I build that in Lego? How would I do this? And then I'm like, okay, let's go do it. Let's go make it happen in real life. Let's go work on Coruscant. Let's take this technique I thought up and put it in here. Let's go build. Let's go get another building challenge. So that's one thing that really gets me hyped up, actually, is playing Battlefront, which is ironic because it's like the societal no-no of like, oh, he plays video games, to like in the middle of the day. Just it was a little bit of a thing that I had to work through, of like being okay with like, hey, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm playing Battlefront. Like, you need to be grinding, you need to be working. It's like, no, this is how I get myself into the zone. And like, just watching things that get me excited and get me passionate. Because my thing, like I said, is I want to build. And so if I see something that I want to build, it makes me want to build. So I've been watching a World War II documentary recently to help get just the excitement going of like, I could build this, I could do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. So watching things that inspire that and kickstart that build thing. So like if I'm sitting there watching The Office or scrolling through YouTube, that's different, right? That just makes me depressed. Not The Office, but like scrolling through social media and just watching random videos. It has to be specific. It has to be like constructive. It has to be something I want to build. And those two things, and then Star Wars and World War II, are the easiest ways for that to happen. Just because I'm so passionate about those things and I enjoy those things and I want to build it. So I basically just have to watch something that I want to build, I guess, if that makes sense, or play it, or even reading. Like sometimes I'll read. That helps too. Where's your Star Wars question, Scott? Would you be a fan of it if Star Wars didn't exist? You mean Lego? Yes, I would be a fan of Lego if Star Wars didn't exist. I love Lego. In Empire Strikes Back, right before Han is put into the carbon freezing chamber, Chewie goes crazy, and there's a scene where Boba raises his gun to shoot Vader and pushes him down. Vader pushes his arm down. Why does Vader do that? Do you think... What's up, Will? How you doing, my friend? Welcome. Do you think it's because Vader knows the situation he's in, of he has everyone under control, he has everyone where he wants them? But if you think about it, if they shoot Chewie, like Han's basically like, he's got what he wants. But like if they shoot Chewie and he dies, that could set everyone off to like, okay, we're just going down. You know what I mean? Like it's the end here. Like we're just gonna fight till the death. And so maybe he wanted to like keep the level of control that he had. Be like, look, we got these guys right where we want them. We can do what we want, but if we just shoot them right now, it's going to cause chaos. We could lose control of the situation. I don't know. He is Darth Vader at the same time, so it's not like he's going to lose control of anything, but maybe he didn't want more people to get killed. Like, he had plans for people and stuff like that. So maybe he just wanted, like, he didn't want, that wasn't part of his plan. I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewatch that scene and visualize it and really see like what's the mood, what's the mindset here. Let's see. There was another one. Oh, I saw another question. Where did it go? Excellent answer. Well put together for being on the spot. Appreciate it. Thanks. I'm glad it was well put together because that's one thing I've been struggling recently is talking on the spot. Coconut, you should start getting World War II figs soon. At least stream the unpackaging. I don't know about that. Those are expensive. What's up, Dubsy? How you doing? Welcome. Let's see. Okay, here we go. From Austin. Would you rather I called you Darth Ostiff or Austin? Let me know. When becoming a member of the full-time community, what has been the biggest constant worry and what have you found to be impactful that ensures you continue to do what you feel deep down? Um I think the biggest constant worry I have is how do I put this? The biggest constant worry I have is putting myself or others in harm's way or harming other people. Because on YouTube, my life is so exposed. I'm still a pretty private person, but you guys know so much about myself, me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very exposed. I'm giving out my address to Bricklink sellers. Like, I so much of my privacy is out there regardless, like that's just how it has to be, you know what I mean, in a way. And so like it can make it to like where people don't realize, but they comment and say things about me that are very hurtful because they don't realize like I'm sharing a very intimate and a very important part of my life out there for anybody to just casually stumble upon. You know what I mean? Like this is very important to me. This is my life's work. And so you know, I worry about like that in the sense of like what could happen to me, what could happen to like my life if I get my certain information gets compromised or certain things happen. And then on the flip side, harming other people of like I don't want to mislead people. I don't want to say the wrong thing to someone. I don't want someone to become reliant on me. You know what I mean? I don't want to put myself in the situation where I am like taking the responsibility of like someone that I'm not. Does that make sense? I don't want to become someone's therapist. I don't want to become someone's dad to where like because I can't be there in those respects. I'm not qualified if that makes sense. So that is a worry too of like and then like misleading people. That's one thing why I don't really do reviews and I don't really do sponsorships. I get so many emails to do sponsorships and get free product, you know, make money and stuff like that. But it's a worry of like, hey, I don't want to put something out there just to have that. Like I don't want to be seen as that. I don't want to like that's why I don't do whatnot or even get involved with anything like that or certain things is because I don't want to be pushing people to click on my link to do this, to do that cuz like I don't know where I'm sending them to all the time. You know what I mean? I don't 100% know what this website is like or what they're doing. And some people can use that as an excuse of like I can do what I want and I'm just like that's them. It's more connected to me. Like I take very seriously the trust and respect you guys put in me of like knowing that and like you know supporting me by like joining the Patreon or like doing other things like you guys know that I'm going to be honest and open with you guys about that kind of stuff. So those are worries of mine being in the community is just being so like involved in it. I guess I think all of that can be encompassed into like being involved if I no longer have this like removed privacy that I used to have. Does that make sense? So that's definitely a worry of mine. Um, but yeah, what was the other part of your question? What have you found to be impactful and that ensures you continue? A big thing is you guys. Like, remember the message you sent me, Austin? Like, that came to me at a time when I was pretty down on myself. Like, Austin sent me this message, and I didn't really know him. I hadn't really talked to him or met him. And just this whole message of like, hey man, like keep doing what you're doing. You don't understand like how much of an impact your content has made in my life. And that was just, I needed that. You know what I mean? Like, cause I was sitting here telling myself the opposite. And so you guys have been a huge inspiration in keeping me going and helping me push through the doubt and the negative mindsets that I've had, because you guys believe in me when I don't believe in myself, and you guys have told me things that I'm like, I'm not that, but like you guys tell me that, and you guys believe it, and that means so much to me. And like the emails, like Dubsy Bricks, that's how we met, is just emailing back and forth. And just so many people, like all of you guys, the kind words you've said, the support you've given me has honestly been a lifesaver in helping me keep the channel going and helping me remember that I'm doing this for a bigger reason than lots of views and lots of money. Because when neither of those are around and neither of those are coming in, it can be very hard to like feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. Um, so that's honestly been one of the biggest things. Probably like one out of the three biggest things has been you guys and your support and your kind words to me, because I can't do it alone, you know, definitely not. So you guys have had a very big hand in helping get this channel to where it is. What's up, Pawpaw's Room? Welcome to the stream. We are doing the Q&A section theme of my podcast, talking about YouTube content, anything related to that, YouTube video questions. How you doing today, man? What do you like about stop motion? I just like how it brings Lego to life. Like you take a Lego set and suddenly it's real, it moves, you know, like it's so cool. Like you can basically bring anything you want to life, any kind of battle or anything like that. See you later, Gary. Thank you so much for joining. And what's up, Concordia Eclipse? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. That was one thing I love about your channel. It feels more personal, and you are here for building mocks, not worrying about promoting other companies. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be successful by making Coconut Brick Studios big. You know what I mean? I want to be successful because I built awesome mocks and they do well. The videos spread. Like that's how I want to make a name for myself. That's what I care about the most. So it's like, why would I split my energies and focuses between all these other things if this is what I care about most? I'm just going to go all in on that. And that being said, I'm sure I will do sponsorships and other things in the future, but it's definitely going to have to be a situation that I'm like, this feels right, this feels good. You know what I mean? Hey man, glad to be a help. You got to give yourself that credit. You and your content make us want to be there. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a battle. It's a grind. YouTube is it's a lot more, I don't know if it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, because I knew it'd be difficult. The mental side of it is, you know, very tough. All right, let's do a couple more questions and then we'll move on to the final theme, or the final segment. Because I gotta move on. I gotta wrap up. I gotta go clean out the rest of our old apartment. The old Lego room. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up. I opened the window, and so I guess I must have clogged me up a little bit. Boom. All right, let's see. I've got a lot of respect for your work ethic, passion, and dedication, putting out great content. I've been a bit out of a rut these past few months, and course on updates have been really kept me going. I really appreciate that, man. I'm glad to hear they helped. I mean, that's a big reason why I'm doing this. I want to be able to put out that kind of content, and I want to create that kind of a place. And I mean, you guys watching the Coruscant updates is a big deal. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the Coruscant updates have just taken off. Like, I've had a couple that are at 70,000 views. 70,000 views. Like, I had nowhere in my mind when I started my Coruscant series that I think that these updates would be doing that well. Like today, this week's update, this last one is already over 40,000. Like, it's incredible. So the fact, like, that's the most important video to me. That is really what's keeping the channel alive. And so I'm glad that people like those and are watching those, because that's what I want to do is, you know, mock building updates. Question, how's the move going? I know you've already gotten much of the way through it, but I'm curious. Yeah, it's been a struggle, Concordia, because we've got most of our stuff moved, but like there's still the whole walkthrough. So like you have to go back and like clean everything, you know? So it's like we're already moved, and once you move, it's hard to want to go back there and clean, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at now. Like most of the stuff is moved out. We just have to go back and like clean it up and get it ready to go. And then here, I'm pretty much at the point where I'm as unpacked as I'm going to be because we're moving again in July. And so we're finally to a point where I can rest a little bit more, I feel like. Whereas before I was like always going. Hi, it's driving me crazy. But it's going pretty good. Um it's nice that like everything's like established here now, so I can get back to work and stuff. Did I see one more question? Austin or Ostef is good, man. Whatever you prefer. I'll go with Austin just because I know you as that. I just pick Ostef on YouTube because because the world is a great, great place. I can do Ostif then if you want. I can do Darth Ostif. I'll just do with what your name is. How about that? Darth Ostif. Thank you for responding to the question. Thank you for everything. You're welcome, man. You're more than welcome. Let's see. Yeah, I said what happened to Thick Brick already. So if you want, go back after the stream's over. Go back and watch the beginning, and you'll see all that. You'll see what I said. Just because I don't want to repeat myself again, because it's a whole little thing. I've wanted to start making larger mocks, but I don't have many pieces. I wanted to order on Bricklink, but I don't know where I should start. I need some pieces, but a lot of sellers are overpriced. So this kind of goes back to my earlier topic about certain parts. So I don't know if you were here earlier, Canadian Dog 500, but I actually, in the beginning of the stream, I went over what kind of parts you should buy, what colors you should buy, and stuff like that in order to get into large scale mock building. So I won't repeat the whole thing. You can go back and rewatch it if you want. But what I would recommend is starting with like dark tan and olive green. Those are fairly cheap, and you've got a lot of variety there. There are a lot of, you just have to look. You have to, that's the hard thing about Bricklink is if you want the deal, you have to hunt for it, but it's out there. Trust me. Like there are stores that are overpriced and there are stores that are really cheap, really inexpensive. So it just takes time. And another thing I would really recommend, Canadian, is when you find a good store, write it down because you think in your head like, oh, I'll totally remember this, and then you forget it. So I actually have a list of stores that I like and I return to because of that fact, and that helps me save a lot of money because I know they're cheap and I know they've got free shipping and other stuff like that. So when you find a good store, write it down. Like one I would really recommend is Farming Up Bricks. They're a very small store, and that's what I started out with in the beginning was just like smaller orders and stuff. But they've got a wide variety, and I feel like he prices his parts pretty well, and they're usually on sale. Chef T, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome, as well as United Bricks. Thank you guys for joining. I'm 12 and Legos are crazy expensive. What do I do, man? I mean, I feel you. Like it sucks. There really is no solution. Like Lego is overpriced. It's not what it used to be. The easiest thing I could say is make Bricklink your friend. Bricklink sets are even cheaper than they are on eBay, just because I think there's less traffic for that. And so I make eBay your friend. Really take the time to dig deep and find stores. I know it can seem overwhelming and it can seem hard, but like the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's just one of those things where it's like pay the price today to get the results you want tomorrow. So you can get sets there. You're gonna have to sacrifice. You're not gonna be able to buy brand new sealed sets, but you can get stuff for cheap there and get what you want to get and be able to do the things you want to do. Honestly, guys, Bricklink is a Lego builder's best friend if you take the time to understand it and learn it. Like there are bad things about it 100%, but the bad far outweighs the good. I should do a video about Bricklink. I feel like Bricklink is very underrated. Do you have any good stop motion recommendations? I don't, unfortunately. I'm not much of a stop motion man myself. I don't really do it. If time and money wasn't a restraint, what would be a mock you'd like to create? It can be Star Wars or something completely random. Let me give you a non-Star Wars one. I would like to do Jurassic Park. I love the Jurassic Park franchise. It's one of my favorite franchises outside of Star Wars. So I'd love to build the whole park with the gates, the visitor center, the paddocks, and I do a combination of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. Because one thing that I really liked about Jurassic World was the structures, the builds, the compounds. There was a lot more of that in the new one, whereas the old one was a lot more open fields and stuff. So I do a combination of both instead of building just a flat open park, really build different sections and zones. And I'd love to build, the giant cage with like the pterodactyls inside. That would be a lot of fun. And then Geonosis. I know I know everyone says that, but we say that for a reason. Like which one of us growing up didn't just sit there in awe watching the first battle of Geonosis? And I'm talking acclimators, core ships, gunships, all of it. every last bit, not just a battle between clones and droids on a dark orange landscape, like the full thing. All right, guys, that'll be the last question. Um, Great questions, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I love doing it this way because the themed Q&A is awesome because I love the questions you guys ask me, and I feel like it allows me to take a break from just the more generic stuff. There needs to be more Jurassic Park mocks, yeah. I was just about to ask if you had video and do a more deep dive into Bricklink. Yeah, I feel like I should. It seems like a lot of people, and I get it because I really didn't understand it in the beginning as well. And I've been using it for 4 years now, and I finally feel like I'm like really, really hitting my stride with it. I keep all my prices under everyone else as a small store. That's another thing to keep in mind, like what Chef said. Like farming up bricks, for example, he's a smaller store, but that means his prices are going to be cheaper. Like I don't want to throw shade at any store, so not going to name names here, but there are bigger stores that definitely are more expensive that I don't shop from that are pretty well known because I've found you can find what you need elsewhere. And yes, you'll have to pay more shipping because you have to order from more stores, but that's okay because the parts themselves are cheaper. So I tend to stay. There are a couple of large stores that I found that I really like, but they're more like niche of like, ooh, this store I really like their light bluish gray stores, or this store had like a ton of dark tan stuff like that. So I'm debating getting into decaling as my birthday is coming up. It might be a fun aspect of the hobby to explore, but also trying to build my Imperial army. Decaling it depends. It's not a casual hobby. It's gonna take a lot of work up front and a lot of investment because you're gonna have to buy all the tools, practice, and then your first mocks are gonna be mess ups, unfortunately. So it depends on like how long term you're thinking of making it. I found some especially for like second tier desired sets, meaning ARC 170s, ATAPs, opposed to the tier 1 like ATTEs. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. Nolark said it great of like, there's this sweet spot of the certain kind of set that's not crazy popular, but is still very desirable, classic Clone Wars stuff. You can find some good deals on Bricklink. I mean, I got an ATOT and dropship on there a while ago for a good price. That went a while ago being like 3 years. Let's see. Dude, Lego Man, you are late as can be. Just about to wrap up here. You can go back and rewatch it though. Welcome, man. It's good to see you. Do you know sites that you can buy parts for a good price, free shipping? Yeah, Bricklink. First Battle of Geonosis was literally the first bit of Star Wars I ever saw. I was 3 years old sitting in my grandfather's apartment and my dad was looking for something for us to watch. Exactly. Like we that's the thing is like, you're like, I was here, I was doing this. I remember after watching that movie going down into my Lego room and trying to build ATTEs. Oh man, that's First Battle of Geonosis. So good. Good to catch a stream. Keep up the grind. Thank you, Chef. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. See you later, Caleb the Collector. For the new room, do you think you will put all your rare figures in one area across the room? Probably not. I've actually sold a lot of my rare figures because to me, they don't hold very much value anymore. I'm not much of a minifig collector, as you guys know. I'd rather build mocks. And so that's kind of where more of my money is going to these days is mocks. But I definitely would like to get some better setups. For 250 Nolark? Bro. Bro, that set's like $900. Wow. I bet you were pissed. I'd be so mad. I'd probably take out a loan just to get it. I'm just kidding. So for the last segment, I wanted to get your guys' advice and feedback because before with Thick Brick, it was talking about Mando, but Mando's over and I don't want to talk about it either because I just don't want to get into that. And before that, it was a creator spotlight, but I don't always have a creator that I want to spotlight. And so what are some other segments you guys would like to see me do? Because I basically talk about my life at the beginning. We do a themed Q&A in the middle. Like what would be a good third segment? I've tried to think of like some kind of game I could do, but like since it's just me, I can't really do it. You know what I mean? I thought about maybe like picking a Clone Wars set or like a Lego Star Wars set and giving you guys like 5 questions you can ask about it, and then you having to guess what set it is, or like just some kind of like, I don't know, fun little game or something to do. Let me know what you guys would like to see for this final segment. Battle of Camino will always be my favorite from the Clone Wars. Seeing the ARC Troopers in the all-out cool guy mode. Funny enough, the ARC Troopers made me want to join the service. That's another classic one. That's another classic one. The Battle of Camino. Too bad Camino's such a hard place to build. Mock Spotlight. Yeah, we could. I could definitely do a mock Spotlight. Let me think if there's any mock that I've seen recently that I could share with you guys. It was yellowed a bit, but that's just the dropship. Even in cleaning it and reselling it, you've gotten me could have gotten me a profit, but I did have. I understand. You know, like I've had to pass up on deals that could have made me money, but it's like you need money to begin with to be able to start those. You know what I mean? How far did you get on making your own ATTE? I've never tried to make my own ATTE. I'd rather have a Brick Vault one or the one that Boosker made. He did a really good job on his. Well, since I don't have a final segment, I guess this will be it. I am a little disappointed. I'll have to think of a good one, figure out like maybe like mock showcase or something I can do. But I really appreciate you guys joining. I appreciate you guys keeping me company. Fortunately, I know this isn't as cool as the challenge video that should be out on Friday, but I was just so tired. I was like, at least if I do a man in his bricks, I can keep that series going. I can stay consistent, have some kind of content come out. But I will be back again tomorrow for building Coruscant, and then we have another update of building Coruscant, and it's gonna be big. Ooh, yeah, that's another one I could do. Talking about what sets I'd like to see made. That could be fun, especially if I go into like really obscure stuff. Because you know, there's the common stuff, but some more obscure stuff. Anyways, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys, hopefully most of you tomorrow, Coruscant stream. But until then, happy building.